Hi, how are you?
Hi, hello, I'm okay. Thank you.
Good.
So I have one question to understand that, like, I'm doing self-inquiry to get to my real self, or to understand that me who reacting on things is not real.
To know the real self, but to know that the mind is not a real self.
But the mind is the one who react on things. Yes.
The mind is collectively the experiencer, the experienced, and the act of experiencing. Sphere, scene, act of seeing, subject and object.
Mind.
Yes.
And then what is consciousness?
Consciousness, the substratum where the mind takes place. Or one can say the witness of the mind. It doesn't act or react. Like the screen of the cinema, so it doesn't act the movie and it doesn't react to the movie.
And then who am I?
In reality, the screen of consciousness. You are also the mind. You are also the illusion, the projection. But unless you become aware of your reality, then you will be under the impression that you are part of the projection, experiencing the projection and reacting to it. Are you following?
Yes.
When the ego disappears, the illusion remains there. It cannot go anywhere because it exists inseparably from yourself, consciousness, right? But the ego will not cover the awareness of yourself as consciousness, or the self, or the absolute, or whatever you like to call it. You always remain aware of being the self, whether the illusion is present or absent. Even if the illusion is absent, it is present in the form of absence, like deep sleep, or darkness, or ignorance, or in a causal state, or whatever it is called by this, that, or the other sage or book. Are you following? Huh?
Yes.
They are not two. They are one and the same. There is no consciousness and mind, reality and illusion, right? They are one and the same. This is Advaita, not two, or non-duality. What you're going to speak? How are you doing that?
I don't know.
You don't know. Good. I don't know, and yet I am, right?
Yes.
So, if you don't know, still you are. So knowledge doesn't give anything away, doesn't give you anything, or doesn't take away anything from you if there is not knowing, there is no. I don't know if you understand what I mean.
I don't know either.
Huh?
I don't know either. If I understand.
You understand or not? So your mind must be dull, not still, but dull.
Yes.
Otherwise, you will understand what I say. Must be either dull or active. So the attention is in the dullness or whatever the mind is thinking or perceiving or knowing or feeling or sensing or something. If the mind is pure, you will listen and you will understand. And even if you don't understand, you will say, okay, I don't understand, and we can elaborate and you can pay attention, and follow the conversation. But the mind must be dull, or must be creating a state of blankness.
Why it is doing it?
Huh?
Why it's doing it?
Not to listen to what I'm saying. See, to pay attention to something else, right? Cleverly, unconsciously also. It's a tendency, must be a habit. Because if the mind was really quiet, it will merge in consciousness, and the knowledge of being consciousness will be there. And then there will be no questions and no confusions and all that.
And like every time I make self-inquiry, it just shut down, closed, and don't let me in. Like make this blank.
Where? Who shuts down? What are we talking about? Like, can you explain it in a different way? The way you frame it, it's very hard to understand.
Let me try. Like it covers itself. It seems like, for example, today I was talking to my sister, and it turns that memories of our childhood is completely different. Like we was growing in the different places, and those things that she was talking about, I am not even remember it, and it seems like she's talking about something else, something like other family or something. And she said like probably your mind just closed these things, like cover it, because it was there, like some family problems or and probably my mind just like
Sorry,
covered.
sorry about my question, but so what? Do you remember all that or do you forget it?
Probably it's the way my brain work. I'm trying to figure it out.
Doesn't matter. The question is still standing, so what? I met people that come to SATS and they are autistic and they have a complete different brain function and they can understand and even have glimpses and all that. So
So the question is, when the mind is dull, how to make it still, not dull.
the mind is fully awake, it's fully conscious of the surroundings. but it's completely still. It's not dull. It's awake, conscious. The mind is also conscious. It is reflected consciousness, but it still is conscious. And it's conscious of itself also. It's conscious of being. It's a very knowledge of being. Or a sense of self, so to speak. You may lose perhaps consciousness of the surroundings, but still you're going to be conscious of being. Are you following?
Yes, like I'm lose consciousness of the surroundings just for a moment, or
It's not absolutely necessary to know that you are the self. As long as the thought I am the body disappears, that will do.
because today I went shopping and for some time I was like looking around and see the buildings and not really understand what it is for some time, and then I came back and I like, this is like buildings.
Yes, correct. There is perception and there is no thought about it. The thinker is not thinking about anything. So the only thing that the thinker knows is I, itself. See?
Yes.
And then in that state, the thinker or the seer does not see or recognize anything separate from itself. She doesn't see it as the other.
It was weird.
Yes.
Like I don't understand what is in front of me.
Yes. This is the mental state that it is required. So the ego can disappear and consciousness can be unveiled, revealed, uncovered. But the mind has to be fully awake. The mind has to be fully conscious. Because if the mind goes to an unconscious state, it will cover its reality with its own darkness or ignorance, right? And then it is also impossible. We know that we are in that state, but we don't know that we are. I mean, it's not clear that we are the self or consciousness in deep sleep. It becomes clear or more clear in the awakened state.
Yes. People lately has strong reaction to me. I am like irritation to them, and
Oh, yes.
I'm try like strong one, and I'm trying like to see, because there's the concept that I am and them are not we are the same, we just reflect each other, and I'm trying to understand like what is this reaction about, and not to react back. But then I understood that it's also a concept until I really understand, don't analyze anything, because now like my reaction is to escape from, like not to have something like to be physically attacked or something, because people get really like I'm the strong irritation for them. Even like, for example, my neighbor, he's quite like calm guy, and lately I was just closing the door out of my apartment, and he was like really an aggressive way, like he was talking to me, why you always dyeing your hair pink? And my first reaction was in my mind like it's not only not your business, but I saw that he was a little bit drunk, and I decided just to keep it
Good.
calm.
Exactly. To keep quiet. We don't have to give explanations to anybody.
Yeah, but reaction was really strong. Like it's not
We
what the hell.
can do it, but we don't have to.
Yes.
So here is the thing. Don't worry about that state, because in a particular given moment, you need to react to something, okay? Or not to react to something is going to happen, right? You will not lose your memory. You will not lose the capacity to think and to feel, right? One has to get used to it.
Mm. But those reactions are normal, yes? Because I always was like kind of irritation to people, but now it's just like an aggressive way.
The mind begins to reflect the light of the self, or the reality of the self. It reflects it, right? As it appears in the awakened state. And then when the ego is facing that, it doesn't like it, because the ego gets exposed, right, to itself. And then it has to do something to protect itself. This aggressiveness is a self-defense mechanism. And
Even
it's trying to blame someone else for the way it behaves or reacts. Someone else's fault always.
so someone else's reaction is actually mine reaction.
Other people, it's really
Because nobody is like, there is no others.
everything is a reflection of one's own inner mental state.
Mm.
What we think about the other is our own mind, right? It's our own mental creation. What we think about ourselves is our own mental creation, right? But then, as you said, there is a moment when there is no idea about the others and there is no idea about oneself, right? That is a thought-free state or the thoughtless state, right? The mind in that state cannot cover its reality. And consciousness gets also revealed. It's obvious. The presence of consciousness becomes obvious, right? And it becomes obvious that this is one's reality, what we really are, or one's own being, or the essence of our existence, or whatever we like to call it. So, however we would like to refer to it.
But it seems like those states of clarity is really fast, and other 24 hours I'm just dull.
Fine, little by little, okay, because the tendency is not, don't be so hard on yourself, right? So all this period of time will be longer. Eventually becomes permanent. Even if you are thinking, feeling, talking, doing, you will find still that you have no clue what's going on.
It seems like a promise that life will finally become interesting.
In one's reality, and even when everything is happening, we have no clue. See, we don't know anything at all. That's it's very easy to explain this. If the mind listen to this, they say, this guy is crazy. All this is nonsense. This makes no sense.
Yeah, but from today I see I was looking at buildings and didn't recognize what I'm looking at. So,
Because the building, right?
what?
The building doesn't say, I am a building.
Yeah.
You can function perfectly like that. Don't worry about it. You need the mind or the knowledge that you have to function, it will come to your rescue. And then when it does the job, it will withdraw back to its source. Actually, you will see that it neither arises nor sets because it never existed separate from the self. Hmm? So even the idea of something rising and setting and all that goes away. It's super interesting. And forget about it. Nobody will understand you. And you will not even understand yourself, but you will have no problem with it. Other people might. Good. This 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 state is called samadhi, or non-differentiation state. Actually, tell me if I am wrong, but in that state, you don't see where do you end and everything else begins, right?
Yes.
That means that it seems that the subject and the object merges into one, right? There is no differentiation between the subject and the object.
Yes, and it was today and a few days ago, while I was sleeping, I just woke up out of feelings that I have no body, like everything is
Yes,
like a fog,
yes,
and there is no shapes and no, like the table is solid and it was not solid, it was not a table.
yes.
And
Me,
then I
many,
go back to sleep.
many weird phenomena might present itself. Don't worry about it. You will have you will have insights about that. You will have understandings about that. You will begin to discover the nature of the illusion. By discovering the nature of the illusion, you begin to discover the nature of your reality, which is the very consciousness or awareness of the illusion. And again, discover that the illusion and your reality are one and the same, not two, inseparable. That you are indivisible, non-dual. Good. This is why we begin to become like a solitary wolf. We lose also interest in all these vanity talks and all that stuff. And all this material nonsense.
Mhm.
I mean, you have no choice. You don't have to be rude. You can be always polite and kind, and you can come up with a yes, yes, no, no, oh, really? Oh, I'm sorry about that. Oh, good to hear. Nice to see you. Cheers and goodbye, and you move on. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be rude.
Yes, but sometimes anger surface, and now I started to see that just anger is anger, and that's it.
Yes, so sometimes we are walking in the street and we don't even know, we are feeling blissful, right? And we don't know how that expresses itself in one's face, right? People may come miserably already and they don't even know it. And then you can mirror that. Oh, they can take your blissfulness or your happiness as if you are laughing at them. See? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes, yes.
They would react to you like, see, they will blame you also for that. So if you look at yourself in the mirror and you look miserable, right? Are you going to blame the mirror for reflecting that back to you? Stupid mirror, look the way you make me look, right? How dare you make me look like I am a horrible human being, like I am upset or angry or jealous or proud or whatever, right?
Yeah. And
Oh, you begin,
now,
believe it or not, you begin to produce an impact in the surroundings without even you being aware of it. Because that power of the cell begins also to it begins to radiate, right, through that body, right? And it begins to permeate the surrounding. This is amazing. You may not even have a clue it's happening, right? And you don't do it consciously, it happens spontaneously. Right?
I'm, I'm just witness the tendencies, they're still there, but now they're surfaced, and I saw like the big one is this thought I am a woman, and all about it, like how I should look, how I should behave. And this is so silly to be anything, man or woman or like anything, because I don't know how to explain. It's just wish to
Try to explain. I understand you without you explain it, but you can try to explain.
just wish to, I don't know, to be in front, like I'm the woman, and the ego through the woman's body or the man's body wants to empower itself, like, see, I'm a beautiful, see, like I have this and that. This
Even
is so like
how it's
crazy.
by developing a negative image of itself. I'm so stupid. I am a horrible human being, right? I am a bird.
Yes,
I'm a bird.
everything about to empower itself.
It's all about me. It doesn't matter how it is, what it is.
Yeah.
It is me and about me. It's a self-centered thought process. Can you see that? This is why it's called egocentric. See, it's
Yeah.
centered ego in the me.
And everybody speak about themselves, and that's it.
Yes. But most of people, even when they have a conversation about something, it's never about something, right? It's about themselves.
Yes, and their opinion, which is like really important.
Good. See, these are insights, right? Already insight about the functioning of the ego, right? By direct experience. Good.
I was blaming life to that I was abandoned Moscow, and now I see that only in this isolation, in the small city, I can see myself, what I think of myself, like this structure. Because in Moscow, it would be impossible be in those circles that I was.
Okay, you will be placed exactly where you need to be, and things are going to happen exactly the way they are meant to be for all that understanding to happen. All this understanding can happen, get revealed, right?
Seems like it's just only now I'm learning how to trust life, because before it was total freaking control of everything. And even while I was control everything, everything was went wrong. Or it seems it goes wrong. Now I understand that it was right. the ego mind and the mind is two different things, and we're trying to get rid of ego, yes or
Yeah.
no?
Trying to get rid of ego is commonly misunderstood.
How to
Trying to get rid of the ego is to become aware of the fact that the ego doesn't exist.
oh,
There is no ego that you can get rid of because it actually doesn't exist. It appears to exist.
but the mind exists or not?
Appears to exist. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It exists, but the image in the mirror exists or it doesn't exist. That entity reflected in the mirror, does it exist or it doesn't exist?
Exist.
And it doesn't exist, isn't it?
Entity, no, but the one who reflected is
That-
exist.
It appears to be an entity, but it's not an entity.
Oh yes, now I see.
This is why the scripture says that about the mind, one cannot even say that it exists or it doesn't exist.
Because I'm trying to understand the logic that like pure mind is the same with the consciousness or not. What is like ego mind is other mind or
You
what
call
is this?
there are many concepts, and sometimes the same concepts are used in different contexts. People get confused by that. Ego, in one sense, means I am separate, right? Or I am a separate, independent, autonomous individual self of being, right? It is also called sense of separation. It is also called duality. It's also called sense of individuality and so on, right? Now, when the mind is totally quiet, like you experience, what is the question about what is the mind? What is there is nothing, right? Huh?
Yeah.
That, and that's a lovely state. No confusion, right? No judgment, no suffering, no fear, no anxiety, no nothing.
Yes, like nothing is there, but everything is there.
This is a thoughtless state. It's a mental state, the thought-free state, or thoughtless state, or whatever.
Very fascinating. Very fascinating.
Yes, it is. And it's not a mental fascination. See, it has a complete different quality. There is fascination about the fascination itself. Nobody can explain this, to be honest with you. This is why the sages always try to help the seeker to directly experience it. So you can know it, right? By direct experience. No need to explain anything to anybody or to yourself. Somehow, if somebody really is talking from experience, I know. Otherwise, I also know it, and I have to come up and you know push that person deeper within himself, or to show that that person that no, this is thing is the mind, right?
Mind fascination is to go somewhere, and this fascination is just to stay where you are.
This tendency of the mind to be fascinated by something different than itself, right? Or to see something different than itself, to see it as the other, right? The tendency to externalize by being fascinating by its own projection, all that begins to diminish, right? It's less and less and less. Till the point what we want is to sit down and keep quiet, right? And we do things because we find ourselves like having no choice but to go through it and okay, bugger that, let's do it, right? Hospital, hospital, this, that, bank, bank, traffic, traffic, whatever, going, coming, coming. No, because there is no volition to that action. There is no will to perform that action. There's no desire to do a thing. It's just like, well, no
Just the way
choice.
it goes.
That's the way it goes, and that's it. And the experience can be uncomfortable, heavy, pleasant, unpleasant. It's unavoidable. It's going to be the way it's going to be, right? What to do? See, you can refer, oh, this is a very tiring. Yeah. See, you can say, I'm very tired. Well, this is very tiring, right? But it's basically, even when you talk about yourself, you're talking about something, not the other way around, like the ego that is talking about something, but it actually is talking about himself. Huh? You can have a wise person and an ignorant person going through the same beautiful garden, right? And the sage will say, oh, this is a nice, beautiful garden, right? The ignorant will say, oh, wow, what a beautiful, look at that. Oh, so it's basically what it is producing by the mean of thought is identifying itself and it turns to be about itself. See, no longer about the garden, right? It
I was there.
can
Let's
feel.
make pictures.
Yeah,
I'm gonna show it to the world.
exactly.
So simple. Oh my God.
It's absolutely, I told you, this is absolutely simple. We laugh at the end. See, we laugh and laugh. My God, this is so simple.
Because when I started to listen to the knowledge, I thought that it's like really complicated. People waste so many years trying to understand.
Yeah, well, what to do? People take it
Yeah.
short time. They will take a long time. What to do? See, when this is why we gotta be patient.
Because now even I'm talking head like a mind, but those 3 seconds of reality give that impression that wow. So
Split second is one split second is enough. And then that produces an impact. After that split second, you may fall into ignorance several times. You can be trapped in this and that, but you're gonna come out of it. You're gonna know that you are trapped. The moment comes that, my God, it seems that there is ignorance and yet there is wisdom, right? Now there is illusion, but the reality is still there. See, we still are aware of the reality, but not clearly, but we are aware of it, right?
Yes. But now I'm afraid that it's gonna be gone because, like Oля said, that she got 10 years ago or something. Like,
How do you know it's true?
I don't know. I just believe what she says.
Don't go along with anybody's experience, including mine. You go along with yours.
Yes, but they just keep talking that 10 years ago I have this flash and this and that, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I just got it, and I'm afraid it's gonna be next 10 years about, and this dullness is gonna be here with me because now I
Your
speak out of mine. I
identity,
am,
someone else's experience.
yeah, okay. It's just because it's a big tendency to compare.
No, there's no comparison. There's no comparison.
Hmm. Is it okay not to pay attention to any reaction? Because before I was trying to
That,
figure it out, like what is the crying is about, like karma or something, and love that comes out of nowhere. And now I'm just like, okay, that's it, okay, and skip it.
that is advice, right? Not to pay attention to any of it, but to pay attention the one that pays attention.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you go into analysis.
yeah.
The intellect gets activated, and then comparison with other ideas and images kicks in, and oh my God, right? And then which one is right? Then the whole thing gets messy. The idea is to ignore all that and acknowledge the one that ignores all that, which is I.
Hmm.
Be that I.
Hmm.
Even if that I still seems to be the ego, be that I. So this I is only acknowledging itself, and then it will disappear. The real I will reveal. Right? This I disappears in the sense that it becomes obvious that it's not separate from the self.
Can't wait. Oh God.
Hmm?
No, I'm just like an old lady. I feel like an old lady. Like people, when they're old, they just expecting this, and that's it. And I feel this way. Like I don't expect anything. I just expect the death.
That is
Of
death. If the ego is gone, that is death. How can you die? You are the self. Well, in a way, I understand. You say, okay, that's it. This body can go now. I will be happy.
yeah.
Yes. The sage is like, in India, there is some people that they are called coolies, people that carry your luggage in their head, see, in the train stations or at the airport. So even in the street, if you need to go from here to there, these guys there, and they have like a piece of cloth and they carry stuff for you. And it is said that the sages are like the coolies. When the coolie is carrying the luggage, the only thing that the coolie has in his mind is, my God, I just can't wait to go there and put this burden down. Right?
Yes.
The only thing is interested is just to get there and put it down.
Yes. Because now I see that real happiness, ego is real happiness. Because before you think that life is heavy and competitive, and then I see that it's just the person, the think of what I am is really heavy, not the life. Life is just the way it is,
Good.
different.
Good.
Thank you.
Welcome. Good, good, good. Sí, 10 de la noche. Nos vemos entonces mañana. Ok.